Hey guys, my name is JessiMew, and welcome back to the Harmony Islands. In the last episode, we found yet another visiting creature from the Old Kingdom wandering through our grass, and this one just so happens to have quite the resemblance to our beloved Miana. He has that bright red fur, a little bit brighter than Miana's was. He is missing the spots, but he has the lovely pink antlers instead. For some reason, the Old Kingdom always seems to have a little bit of that pink on them, so we can tell them apart pretty easily. But he was also a victim of the double no-paw curse, I guess. The curse, just like the wandering males we typically find all around the island, so it does make me wonder if there's some sort of connection between the Old Kingdom and the wandering males. There must be some reason why they look so similar, especially in Kirkirvan's case. He looks very, very similar with his derp snout. We actually mistook him as one of the wandering males before we knew him completely. Before he got to know Moth, of course, and all of her family, now they love him very, very dearly. And Rain, too, is going to spend the night just chatting away with all of these creatures on the shore. She wants to know as much as she can about the Old Kingdom because she misses her mentor very, very much. So we'll leave them there. We will want to have Meyer pick up all of these berries though, because we are planning on moving very shortly to our new island. Meme and Joker have been given strict instructions to make sure that this place is all cleaned up for all of the creatures who want to join. So we'll make sure that Joker goes ahead and picks up his berries too, and then we'll have them clear out a little bit more of this grass, I suppose. This is the only area that we haven't really connected to the other territories. Right now, we're doing a pretty good job making sure that the bandits and the golden hearts will be able to pass freely through this pathway. Mist is actually picking up some of the very final grass and some of the acorns as well, because he was looking for his sister Grim, who seems to have taken a liking to our resident Beragina, of course, Growl. Growl does have a child now, little fierce beta with her giant Beragina claw in this nest. You can actually see those big giant claws poking right out of all of that nesting material. So it seems like Tetra is certainly going to have her work cut out for her, and if she could find a little bit of food to feed her baby, she would probably feel much safer. So let's see, I don't think there's any fish in the water just yet. We kind of fished this entire place clean, so she might need to sniff around for some meat instead. We do have some moles, but unfortunately they are too scared to pop out of their burrows. So I guess instead you're going to have to stay by the shore, unless we scoot you over this way, through the water, so maybe you could find some bunnies in the savannas. We could give that a shot too. And instead we'll make sure that Mercy is keeping a very close eye over your child. We don't want her to be all alone after all. We'll have Siren go ahead and pick up some of the very last berries in this area, and then she's going to start making her way upstream. Because she has that lovely webbed paw, she should be very, very quick in the water. So we'll let her swim most of the way if we can help it. Now I think that's everybody done over here, so we'll want to scoot way back here to the swamplands, of course, where Brave and Zen are having a little bit of trouble with all these bugs. He's trying to get his sister out of the swamp because of this bug situation. She was looking for her tasty poison berries, of course. She's the only creature who can pick them safely since she has the poison fangs, but without the stinky tail, they're going to spend too much time fighting with the bugs to make it worthwhile. So in an attempt to get his sister out of harm's way, Zen has actually asked Lalasi if she would take her along to the ports to the north, along with her son too, of course, Takir the artist, who loves to scribble on this rock with all of the mud around the riverbank. So since Lalasi has had quite a few run-ins with the bugs herself, I'm sure she would feel a little bit sympathetic toward these creatures, even though she's slightly nervous. I think in the end empathy would win out, especially as she remembers everything that Sage did for her. But since they're so very sleepy on this turn, she's going to have to turn her attention over to her son. So I think she's actually going to call him into the water this time. We'll have her scoot up to the shore and pick up some of this grass, of course, right around the healing fruit, and then we'll see if Takir happens to be a strong swimmer. I know he's very young, but I'm hoping that he's going to be okay even though he's submerged inside this lake. He seems okay so far. He's not drowning yet, so we'll just keep a very close eye on him overnight, and hopefully that'll bring him just a little bit closer to these ports so we can get all of our creatures over there in this day. And then maybe it's time for Moth to start making a pathway straight over to the ports themselves. We'll have her start connecting the territories along with Meme and Joker as they pick up more grass in between. Then I believe it is just down to Willow, the protecting force of the side of the island. She did a very good job making sure that a rogue male was taken care of, but unfortunately it was Minnow who took the damage. He was the one who landed the killing blow on him, and his spiky body did harm him a little bit. So we'll have to see if anybody in this area happens to know how to use the healing fruits, and I wouldn't be surprised if somebody in the Old Kingdom knows just that. This is where they lived after all, so they must have studied the healing fruits at some point. But for now, before we take a look at Libra's very last baby, let's scoot over here and make sure that Takir is going to be okay overnight. He's not drowning, right? Yeah, seems like he's perfectly fine. Excellent, Takir. So you are a very, very good swimmer, despite the fact that you look like you're completely submerged. And we will move Lalasi over here so you can jump right to the shore and you won't have to worry about getting stuck under the water. And now let's take a look at this baby. Oh my goodness, look at you, little one. Do you finally have the water body? No, it doesn't look like it, unfortunately, so we were not able to mutate the water body on their babies, but luckily some of them do have some water traits, like Taurus has a swimming tail, and I believe Aries does too. So we might actually want to bring Aries along with us to the next island, mainly because he has immunity gene H, and most of our creatures do not have that. So he would certainly be able to find a suitable mate on the new island, and we could also place that water body in his mutation menu as well thanks to his swimming tail, just like his father. But what on earth should we name you? You have the strangest mask. It almost looks like a warped version of the bandit mask. And not only that, but it looks like her portrait is actually different too, so yet another budding trickster in the making. I think we'll name her Mirage as a way to remember the bandits of the past, and that'll make it particularly fitting for her to stay behind on this island as well, where so many of our other bandits made their home. Unfortunately, she won't be able to steal any shells because she doesn't have those nimble fingers, but she does have a giant claw just like her mother, so hopefully she'll be able to keep everyone safe. Now, Grim is still a little bit ill with the sleep sickness, so she's not going to be able to breed with Growl just yet because she can only move one space to the side, so that's a little bit disappointing, and it looks like we still have the bugs over here too, right next to these poison berries. So Spirit is trying her best to keep the bugs away from the tribe. She's one of the few with a stinky tail over here, including Mercy and now our newest little baby Mirage, so hopefully all of their stinky tails combined will be enough to keep them away completely. For now though, at least little Beta can spend some time with her father. She could perhaps use this time to learn some of the language of the Berryina too. Since her father doesn't speak our language very well, he typically can only growl to us, which is where his name came from. I have a feeling that Beta would probably pick up some of that as well, especially if she's spending so much time with her father. So Aries, we can change your second gem over to the golden hearted color as well, just like your brother Taurus. And then we'll have you pick up some of these final berries before you scoot on up through the grass to try to get to those ports. Your brother can help you out by clearing out some of this grass too. It is time for us to pack up our belongings though, because we won't be using any of these nests right by the shore any longer. Gobi is another creature who will very likely be staying behind with his mother, of course. He's staying right by her side. He has been looking for some berry bushes to pick from, but unfortunately this is where all of our poison berries ended up spawning. So I think all he's going to be able to do is find some berries in the savannas to pick. For that matter, I'm pretty sure they also had quite a few bunnies up here, somewhere down by the shore. We scared those guys away so very long ago, and it seems like they're still having fun in the water, so we'll have to have Tetra make her way down there too. We'll scoot her all the way through the grass if we can. We can pick up some of it to make a little pathway for Gobi as well, and then she'll have to do some bunny hunting on the next turn when she has a little bit more energy. Meyer is also going to stay here because of course she's passing away on this next turn, so this is her very last chance to gather up any extra food for all of these creatures who are moving. Maybe she would call out to Minnow because she knows that he has those very, very helpful nimble fingers, so he can scoot up this way and grab some more of the berries off of the other berry bushes in the area. He is probably going to go with us too, just because of the nimble fingers themselves. Since we don't exactly have any collecting abilities from the creatures with the Berryina traits, it would probably be a good idea to make sure that we're still nurturing our nimble finger line. And that's also why Dust is probably going to be one of the ones to come with us. And in fact, I think Moth would probably ask Willow to go with him too, just to make sure that he's safe. He's not the strongest of creatures, so he will need somebody watching his back, especially on the tougher islands. If we can have him stay there for a moment though, then maybe Vantaku can make his way all the way up to Minnow to make sure that he knows how to use this healing fruit. And in fact, we probably should pick up a little bit of this grass too so we can actually see them, because right now they are completely buried. This is where he was wandering before too, so I feel like he must know something about the healing fruit. Maybe he at least remembers the old remedies of the Old Kingdom. He probably can't use them very well because he only has those no paws, but he could at least walk Minnow through how to use the healing fruit, so on the next turn when he has more energy, he can heal himself of all of that damage that he took. But now you guys can start making your way up to your mother. Moth actually still needs to give birth to her very last baby with Mist too, but I want her to wait until we're sure that there's nobody in this grass that we need to be made aware of. I don't see anybody yet, but there's still quite a bit of darkness in there that we can't sniff out. So let's have her scoot a little bit further in, just in case there's some sort of wandering male out here that we haven't seen before. Let's listen around again. Yeah, we don't have the outlines anymore like with the prey, so that's why we have to be very, very careful when we're wandering through the grass. We don't want her to stumble into any danger. She might even be able to use the nest that Meme and Joker have cleared out if we make sure that we have a little bit, oh my goodness, a little bit more space around the nest. Wait a second. You are definitely not a wandering male. You're one of the wandering creatures, in fact, and look at that, she actually doesn't have the no paws. She has the big nose instead. We don't even have the big nose in our tribe yet. We've been trying desperately to mutate it. You would be a wonderful addition to the tribe because then you could at least sniff out that danger. She only has a G and the home island immunity, unfortunately, but I wonder if we can still find her somebody to breed with. Either way, we should definitely make sure that we invite her to the tribe with our food. And wait a second, she could actually breed with Joker. Oh my gosh, how perfect is that? Maybe they knew each other a little bit more than we knew. Maybe Joker actually talked to her from the grass because it's way too perfect that he just stumbled straight into her while he was trying to clear out this area around the nest. We'll have him do his part though. We do want to make sure that everybody is safe, and Meme can help out as well, and then we can invite Koanako into the nest so maybe she can have his baby. She does have one of the infertility traits, so maybe she is still connected to that old kingdom. Maybe she's one of the very few remaining creatures who managed to stay healthy despite it all, especially as she does have the red fur in her genetics and even those dots. Very, very mysterious. So I think I will actually change her gems over to that lovely pink color too. And then as far as her mutation menu goes, I'm not sure if there's really much in here that we need to be concerned with. We certainly can't add any of the water genes in here because we don't have access to them. She doesn't have any swimming skills herself. But we can actually place the Berryina claw in here? Oh my goodness, that would be a very, very strange twist to the family tree if she had that hidden away in her genetics somewhere. I guess we could do the eyesight and maybe the ram horns too, since she doesn't have any ram horns, and I do believe she had a little bit of a short-sighted eyesight in her genetics. So we don't want that passing along, and even Joker has the blind eyes in his, so it might be a good idea to do the same for him. Not only that, but it looks like we have access to the Cracker Jaw as well, so I guess picking up all of those acorns underneath the tree has really paid off for us. So we don't need to rely on the nimble fingers anymore. We could always try to mutate the Cracker Jaw into one of their babies instead. But for now, I think this is okay, just making sure that their eyesight is fine. So hopefully her infertility won't get in the way too much. Let's see if this works. Yeah, I believe it did on the very first try, so I guess it was meant to be. I'm very glad that we're seeing so many members of the Old Kingdom now to, of course, remember Miana by. And we'll make sure that Moth clears out a little bit more of this grass too, because we want her kids to get up there as soon as possible. Now, Rain, of course, wants to make sure that she can preserve the ways of the old tribe as well, the Old Kingdom, so we do want to make sure that she breeds with one of these creatures too. Luckily, her genetics line up perfectly with Kirkirfan's because he has two completely different immunity genes, so we definitely want to make sure, even though his genetics aren't the best, that we bring them along with us to the next island. We'll just have to make sure that we place the running leg inside one of his slots, of course, and then maybe the big nose again to try to get that onto one of our babies as well, over the derp snout, of course, which is not going to help us so much. And then for Rain, one of you actually suggested that maybe we should place some of the genes that Mianna had, like the dots of course and the red fur too, so that Rain's babies might be able to carry on the legacy of the Old Kingdom even more efficiently. Rain is a very healthy creature anyway, so I'm not too worried about using up her slots with the eyesight or anything like that. She should be able to give us very healthy babies no matter what. But we'll have Kirkirvan breed with her. Hopefully if we can get it to stick, there we go, we'll use up all of his energy so that she can bring her baby along with us to the next island. So she's not going to have her baby just yet. She's going to travel along the shore if she can, and hopefully she won't pick up any leeches along the way. Now Brave and Zen are still struggling, I'm afraid. Brave only has a one turn that she can use to try to get away from these nasty bugs, and then Zen is going to have to use his turns to make sure that the area is all lit up for her to get through. Hopefully she can still make it to the ports before the rest of the tribe decides to leave, because I would still like to take her just for her poison fangs. I guess these bugs must also enjoy the taste of poison berries, because it seems like they always spawn right next to them. So the poison-fanged creatures are definitely going to have to make sure that they have the stinky tail on them too, not the spiky body, because that takes away all of the tail genetics. But you guys can at least keep making pathways, so hopefully it'll be easier for them to catch up. And likewise, since we do still have this bug situation over here, we might want to have Spirit make her way toward this patch of bugs again, where she was before, right next to this poison berry bush, just to try to deter them from getting to Grim again. Hopefully that'll make it possible for her to breed with Growl too on the next turn, especially since Mercy is currently chatting it away with him to the best of her ability anyway, which should prevent him from scooting away from us. Now Siren, you can finally dive into the water and go as far as you possibly can upstream. She is going to love swimming all the way up to those ports, through all of this water until she makes it all the way out to the ocean too. And then I think it's down to Mist, who's still picking up a little bit of food as he tries to make his way over to his sister, though there are a lot of creatures to kind of fight through right now. So we'll sit him right over there so we can get to Grim on the next turn. And then I think we're just about done. So why don't we scoot way back here to see what our brand new little baby is going to look like. Our brand new little kingdom baby, in fact. Oh my goodness, look at you. Another very strong creature with a lean body too. Double claws and the lean body. You're very strong, but you're also very nimble, very quick on your feet. And that means she should be pretty hard to track as well, because her lean body makes her very stealthy. So she might also be a good one for us to bring in the future. She did unfortunately inherit that infertility trait, but she has G and B in her immunity genes, and I don't think we have that combination yet. I suppose it just depends if Brave can make it all the way over here or not in time. But since it did start to rain, we should have plenty of food to pick up, so Meme can come over here to the lovely throne, and oh my goodness, she finally unearthed one of those shells. Call your brother over so he can hopefully pick it up in the next turn. You guys have finally found your treasure again. It has been so long since their family has found any treasure whatsoever, because the Kravitz all packed them away. They had different plans for our creatures. But I guess doing so much work for the Kravitz has finally gotten you in their favor. They're finally willing to offer you a little bit of treasure as a reward. Now we'll want to make sure that Minnow is all nice and healed for the journey too, so he'll take Vantaku's advice and grab up this lovely healing fruit before he sets off behind all of his tribe mates. And of course he will be very thankful to Vantaku for helping him out. We might want Vantaku to stay in the area too to make sure that all of the healing fruits are safe, since he does seem to know so much about them. We'll have Kirkirvan follow Rain down the shore though, just in case she ends up catching any leeches. We have certainly had our fair share of leech situations after all with a Joker and Meme. She's almost all the way to the ports though, so she might be one of the very first creatures to meet the judgment of the Krabbit. Hopefully, if the Krabbit is still sticking around, then he'll be able to invite her to settle down on the ports. Thankfully, it looks like Grim is doing much better this morning, and oh my goodness, Growl has returned to the nest where his very first baby was born. Hello, big guy. We'll make sure that Beta has her second gem turned to that lovely golden color, and then we definitely want her to start making her way up here with all of her other tribe mates too. She has spent quite a bit of time with her father learning his ways and his language, so I'm sure she's ready to carve her own path on this new island too, with all of her very fierce genetics. But we're going to have somebody grab this mole as well. Somebody with enough energy? We might want to wait until it turns just a little bit more so that we don't accidentally spook it. There we go. Libra can grab it from behind and maybe even offer it to Beta, her little granddaughter actually, because of course she took such very good care of Growl that she's kind of like his mother in a way, so she would be her adopted granddaughter too. Now let's finally bring Grim down here to breed with the Berryina, and then we'll have her settle down her own nest since we can't exactly use the one that the Berryina is sitting on right now. So she can finally have her own little Berryina baby to keep her line very, very strong. Just in time too, because she's getting a bit old, and hopefully this will still let us take her baby over to the next island too, because we want more of those Berryina genetics to hopefully spread them around in the future. And not only that, but it looks like the fish are returning. Excellent. Just in time for Mercy's very last day on this island. So let's bring her down here to fish up some of her very final fish. I'm sure this would be a wonderful way to remember her mate at the very least. Mist, on the other hand, must be charging in ready for a fight. Since he sees this giant Berryina looming over the nest of his sister, he must be charging in to do his best to protect her, only to find out that she doesn't need protecting after all. The creatures over on this side of the island have somehow started to befriend the Berryinas, which must be a very hard concept for someone like Mist to wrap his head around. So needless to say, I don't think he's going to be leaving her side any soon. Maybe he would think that the Berryina eventually is going to betray her and her baby, so he'll want to stay very, very close by her side. Now we just have a little bit more food collecting to do over here. Thankfully, Gobi has tons and tons of food to pick up now that it has started to rain, and Cricket is going to stay right by his side to make sure that he's safe. But Tetra, on the other hand, is looking for that meat, and I think we finally found some, but we're going to have to wait for it to turn just a little bit more. So let's bring Taurus way up here to light up some of the way for his family. And then we might want to come back to the swamps to see if Brave is doing okay. Oh, you are still swarmed by all of those bugs. I think all we can do is move you right over here, and then have your brother go a little bit further down the water if possible, if we can get past all of this fish anyway. Even if we can't get her to the ports in time, at least we know they won't be alone. They're going to stick by each other's side no matter what happens. But Takir is all grown up now. You have your very final gem. So let's bring him closer to the shore. I think we're just about there. If we make a little bit more of a pathway for all of the creatures that we've left behind us, he should be able to make it right to the beach on the next turn and then get all the way over to those ports too. So Sage's mission of delivering the Lassie to the ports has kind of been changed a little bit. Now instead she's delivering their son Takir so he can go on to the next island too. He has much more life left in him after all, and this is kind of the Lassie's home anyway. I'm not sure if she would want to leave all of these swamps behind since they do hold so many memories for her. But let's have Tetra grab this mole, swipe it up from behind, and then we'll see what Grimm's baby is going to look like. I would imagine they are going to be just as ferocious, of course, as a little Beta. Oh my gosh, it's a boy this time, and we can barely see him because somebody is in the way, Growl. But I can see those itty-bitty little claws sticking out from the nest again. Oh, and look at that, we have the Berryina hind legs in his genetics too. They're only sitting in his inactive traits just like the Berryina snout, but that's quite interesting. We'll have to see if Beta has that too. Yeah, she actually does, so I'm not quite sure what that does. I would imagine it probably gives them a little bit of extra strength, just like the Berryina claw. But hopefully we can pull that out of their genetics in the future so we can see exactly what it looks like. They are going to be very, very spiky little babies, if it's anything like Growl himself. Look at those massive talons that he has on his paws. Just slightly bigger than his son's, in fact. So I think we're going to name him Howl, and needless to say, he is going to be Grimm's pride and joy. She would instill it in him very, very early on that he has the potential to lead the entire island. He could become the king of the next island if he trains enough and if he hones his strength just like his mother. To be honest, I can see a bit of a feud growing between Grimm and maybe even Tetra, even though she's so very far away out here with all of her mole meat, trying desperately to find food for her baby. I could really see her trying to make her baby appear much stronger than Beta. Clearly, both of them will be going to the next island. Their parents will be staying behind because most of this generation is getting very, very old now. So we want the newest generation, oh my goodness, to go with us to the island instead. You are definitely not Growl. You are a very, very unfriendly Berryina, in fact, so we are going to want to take care of you. Thankfully, we do have some very strong babies in our nest, but not quite old enough to get rid of you right now. A little bit too young to actually attack. So we're going to have to bring Willow in, of course. Willow with her very final gem. She can launch herself into the grass and land a few good blows on the Berryina to at least distract it from the baby. That way little Cola can make her way out of the nest to this giant acorn that Meme can help her collect. And then Joker should be able to charge in there to protect his family too. Oh, wait a second, did that shell actually disappear? I think it actually did. Oh, those Krabbits, those teasing Krabbits. They brought him all the way out there for nothing. But we can have Joker land one good blow on the Berryina, and then he's practically done. In fact, Koanako should be able to finish it off completely. The strength of the Old Kingdom is finally pulling through for us, and then we can pick up all of that lovely meat to pack along for the journey too. Even the berries to go alongside it, so it'll be a very, very balanced meal. And then we should still be able to bring Moth over here to have her baby too on the next turn. So there we go, she can have her very final baby with Mist, and I guess this is why Mist is so very nervous about this giant Berryina in their midst. He's used to the very, very aggressive ones after all, and he's certainly never heard of anyone breeding with the Berryinas and having their babies. So you can understand his concern. You can understand why he might feel like Growl is eventually going to snap and revert to his previous instincts and wipe out their entire tribe. It's a little bit dramatic, but in the end, he only wants to keep his sister safe. So in the next episode, we'll have to see where Growl decides to go, if he decides to wander alongside his children, or if maybe Mist is going to scare him off. But for now, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye guys!